Mary Elizabeth Williams just recently wrote an article criticizing Hollywood, and she believes that we need to actually occupy Hollywood because the celebrities and the actors and actresses make too much money in Hollywood. And because of that wealth disparity, we need to protest.
Not buying it.
I'm actually not buying it either. Look, she makes a fair point because she talks about specific movies. For instance, there's the Lone Ranger movie that Jerry Bruckheimer is directing. And, you know, Jerry Bruckheimer admitted that there are certain small scenes in that movie where they are cutting costs. So they're getting rid of extras, they're getting rid of makeup people in order to save money, right? And Mary Elizabeth Williams is saying, well, why are they, you know, cutting the salaries of all of these people who hardly make any money anyway? And they're willing to pay the stars of that movie like tens of millions of dollars. That doesn't make sense. Okay, she makes a fair argument there, but you can't be angry at actors and actresses for making the amount of money that they make because we're the people that buy into that. We're the people who are entertained by them. We're the people who buy the movie tickets, and that's why they're wealthy. They're not wealthy because these studios just decide, oh, we're going to give them $10 million for nothing.
No, I'll go further than you. First of all, I agree with you, of course. Nobody ever went to a movie going like, oh, I can't wait to see those extras in that one mountain scene. Right? Unless they're one of the extras, which has happened to me, right? I'm like, oh, watch, here I come. Oh, you saw me for half a second. That was awesome. And I made all my friends go. Okay, but outside of that, of course, you pay for the stars, which I wish it wasn't that way. And for me, it isn't. There's certain writers that I like. I go to see their movies much more so, directors, etc. But a lot of times people do it based on stars. And look, this is much closer to the free market than anything else we have, especially the banks, right? And unfortunately, in these categories like entertainment and sports, it does become bifurcated, where you have a few stars who make a gigunda amount of money, and then you have, everybody else that gets paid not so much money. In sports, they all get a lot, but there's just two huge layers, the upper layer, and then you lose the middle class, even in sports and in entertainment. But that's just the way that free market works. It's not anybody's fault. That's just how the market works itself out. And look, I was on the losing end of that for almost my whole career, right? Whereas you're going up trying to become a radio talk show host or a television talk show host, you get paid next to nothing. But I didn't sit there and go, I demand to have Howard Stern's contract. I'm going to go occupy Howard Stern's office.
Right.
But that doesn't make any sense. You got to work up to it. And if you don't like it and you don't like the terrible pay, then go do something else. I mean, I don't know if I'm being too harsh, but what I think Occupy Wall Street is all about is protesting legitimately the rigged game and the injustice in the system. Here, it's not about, the game isn't rigged, it's just that's the way the game is. And if you want to play it, great. If you don't, there are other industries.
No, you're absolutely right about that. The biggest problem I have with this blog is the fact that it kind of muddles the Occupy message, right? Because the people who are protesting at Occupy Wall Street are not protesting just wealth, right? They're not necessarily against corporations. They're not necessarily against the top 1%. What they're against is the top 1% not paying their taxes, buying politicians. That's when you kind of break the system that we have here, the system of democracy. And this is something completely different. This just seems like you're bitter because you have celebrities making a ton of money.
Right. And look, we've never been, at least for the Young Turks, been on the side of like, be against the rich just because they're rich. That doesn't make any sense. It's, if they're taking government money through a bailout, a backdoor bailout, et cetera, dumping it on the taxpayers, that's what you got to be angry about. Not that because Bill Gates got rich or Angelina Jolie got rich.